Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be doing the Solitaire module from 65 Squad Level Combat in the Jungles of Vietnam by Flying Pig Games, designed by Marc H. Walker. I have done a full series on the two-player version, although I did play it Solitaire. That's available on my channel as well. And they're all in the same, this video and the others will be in the same playlist, so they are probably pretty easy to find if you wish to see them. The first video in that series is a component review. Then there are three videos covering scenario 2 of the main game. This is scenario number 1 of the Solitaire module. The name of it is Rescue Rambo. And here's the description. They told him to leave it alone, but hell no, that wasn't going to happen. Staff Sergeant Rick Rambosetti, a loudmouth, heavily muscled, gung-ho, flag-wearing, God-fearing punk from Brooklyn, just had to rescue his white kitten that had wandered behind communist lines. And guess what? The commies captured Rick. Captured him and the kitten. Now it's up to you and your friends to bring them back. This is an 8-turn scenario. And each turn will end when the second end turn card is drawn. So this one should move fairly quickly. So for the US, set up on map 3, which is this one right here, we have 5 rifle squads, an M60, Riggs, and Black. And then we have Dixon, who is portraying the role of Staff Sergeant Rambosetti. He's over here on map 1. The NVA has 2 sappers, 7 rifle squads, 2 RPD machine guns, and they also have in the random drawer bucket here, they have a two-time chit, 2 of those, and a random event chit. Okay, so on the map here, you'll see this is a little bit different from the base game, in that you have these mystery markers with geographic shapes and colors on them. And the Solitaire deck, which is this right here, will determine, so I'll just show you the bottom card here. So you see here we have this circle, and it's green. It also says adjacent. So if this would activate any unit on the map that has a green circle or is adjacent to a US unit. And then these here will tell you kind of what the unit will do. And there's also a Solitaire play aid on the back of the rule book that kind of determines what, that it kind of adds to the decision tree in certain situations. So as you can see, we have 2, 4, 5 different spots from which the NVA units will be drawn when they become revealed. There are several ways a unit can become revealed. Until that happens, they are considered to be mystery markers, or MMs, as the manual or rule book rather kind of names them for shortness, brevity. So you have these MMs, and then as they are revealed by, say, if they hit an American unit with a fire attack, they're revealed. If an American unit becomes adjacent to them, they become revealed, and so on. There's also some events on the cards themselves that actually will cause them to be revealed. So when they're in this mystery marker mode and they attack an American unit, the attack result comes off the Solitaire cards, comes off these cards here. When they are revealed, and you know what they are, so if it's an NVA rifle squad, for example, then you would know its HE factor, and you would be able to use the regular 65 deck to determine what happens on the fire attacks. The 65 deck is also, of course, used for the Americans, the American player who's playing Solitaire. So I'm going to play this mission and give you guys an idea of what the Solitaire module looks like. It's a clever design, and I'm pretty sure, actually, that with a little bit of creativity and work, you can apply this to some of the other scenarios in the game. So if you have, well, obviously you would have the base game. There are 8 scenarios in the base game. Some might lend themselves to this treatment a little better than others, but I'm pretty well convinced that you could apply this to the base game and it would work just fine. You could probably also apply it to the U.S. Marine Corps and Anzac expansion or the city scenario. So I think, in general, it's worth having this if you're going to play Solitaire. Although, as I said in my previous videos, the game also works extremely well, the base game, just playing it by yourself. I mean, yes, you lose a little bit of the, the back and forth hidden aspect of, what does my opponent have in his hand kind of thing. But that's not necessarily, a killer in this particular instance. So, without any further preamble here, I guess we'll get down to playing. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is determine initiative. The way that works in the Solitaire mode is you count the number of mystery markers, of which we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you draw a card here, and the value in the lower right box, which is what you use for determining combat results typically. So here we have -1. So if the number is lower than the number of mystery markers, then the Americans get initiative. If it's greater, then the Vietnamese would get initiative. So I'll put that out. That's our discard pile. Okay, so now we know the Americans have initiative. They'll get 4 cards, just like they would in a 2-player game. We draw 4 cards. We look at our cards. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fire card here, and I will fire these 2 rifle squads here against this mystery marker. Now, one of the ways in which you can reveal a mystery marker is to actually hit it with fire. So we will calculate what we've got here. So we have 2 rifle squads, total HEF 4. We have 2 hexes away, so they're going to get a 1 bonus because you get a +1 at a range of 1 or 2 hexes with rifle squads. So that makes it a 5, but they're in a building with a black dot. Black dot building's -1. Red dot building up here is -2. Okay, so we have 5. We're going to take 1 away, left with 4. So I'm going to draw 4 cards. And this works just like it does in the 2-player game. Greens are hits because it's ranged combat. So that's a hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. That's 3 hits, which is typically enough to kill a unit. It is possible there are actually 2 units here, so I'm going to flip the 4th card. It's a mess. All right, so none of these are an end turn card. So now we have to reveal this unit and figure out what it is. And the way we do that is we have this card, this cup here. I'll shake it up and I'll pull a chit out. And we draw the 2X, which means that we're going to draw 2 chits out. So we're going to draw 2 additional chits out of here. All right, so we drew a rifle squad and an RPD. Okay, so that's what's under there. And that's why I flipped the 4 cards, because there is a possibility that there's 2 units under this marker. And in fact, there were. So what we get then is both units will be shaken. One will take a hit as well. So I get 2 shaken markers. Both units are shaken, and I'm going to reduce the RPD. So that's 3 hits applied to that. We now know what this is, so we flip this marker from its mystery side to its revealed side to indicate that we know what's under there. And I'm just going to put this back. So we know that these units are now what they are and that they are, in fact, shaken. So that ends the U.S. impulse. Wait, did I screw that up? I screwed that up, didn't I? This was Riggs. I read Riggs as a rifle squad for some reason. Oh boy. All right. I'm going to just keep it because it was a 3 instead of a 4. So it's not that big of a deal, although it should have probably been a 2. All right. So we'll just do a retroactive conversion because with only one rifle squad, it would be 2 plus 3 plus 1 is 4. Heroes at range 2. Oh no, it stays. Okay. So it's still 3 hits. And this is then they've now fired. So I'll just do that. All right, so now I'm going to draw a solitaire card to determine what the NVA do. So we flip the card, okay? Now we're looking at the symbols here. So we have a black circle and a black triangle. We look at our units. We don't have any that are black, but we do have circles and triangles, okay? So the closest to circle would be first because they're on top. Okay, so if you can't match the shape and color, then you would match the shape or the color. So we'll match this one. We could also match this, but because they're both shaken, they can't really do any actions. So we'll use the circle. We look at stance first, which is defensive. Okay, so it says fire. Now, the issue here is, do they have a line of sight to an American unit? And I don't believe that they actually do. The building here is going to block the line of sight to this. So they can't see that unit. They have a building hex here that would block them from seeing that one. In theory, they could maybe see this guy. It's kind of hard to tell. I tend to struggle with line of sight sometimes, but it looks like hex side wise, they might be able to see that one. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes away. You know what? I'm going to act like they can in fact see that hex, and I'm going to have them fire. So once you do that, you look at the result. Yeah, so they're in jungle. They're in jungle terrain, so that's actually cover. So the result is 2. So that's 2 hits actually. Okay. So 2 hits. So each unit is going to get shaken. So I will put a shaken marker on each unit. And then we also have to now determine what this is because they shot and hit that unit. So when they fire and hit, they get revealed. So again, we draw shit, and we get random event. So what random event is according to the rules, you get for random events here at the bottom. All right, the scenario rule says a random event is spooked, which basically just means that an American unit is going to fire out of like fear, basically. So they will fire and will fire here, and because it's the nearest to an enemy unit, and this one is 1, 2, 3 away. 1, 2, 3. This one is also 1, 2, 3. It could be this unit. 1, 2, 3. It could be that unit. But it's just one unit. Not the stack. So I'm gonna put a fired marker on this top unit here, the M60 or rifle, whichever, and we'll put a fired marker on there. Okay. All right. So having done that, we then go back to the American turn, the American impulse. So they get to draw a card because we played one. And we drew an end turn. So you get 2 end turns before the turn actually ends. So we're going to just put this here to kind of keep track of it. We draw another card. So now we have fire with power. Okay, so with a fire with power, what I'm going to do, or I can do fast move. Actually, I needed to pull another chit out for this guy because this guy should be revealed. So we get a sapper. So that's going to be a sapper. I'm going to put a revealed on here. And I'm going to play... I guess I'm going to fire here, and I'm going to use the Rifle Squad's 40mm power. So I'm going to use the power on this card. So what power does is it gives you a, 40mm gives you a +1 on your HEF. We get 1 for black, 2 for the rifle, +1 is 4. The range is 3, so no bonus for range. They're not in cover. Oh, they are in cover, I'm sorry. So that would be a -1, so we're down to 3. So we draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And we reveal them, same thing, greens are hits. So we get a hit, we get a miss, and we get a miss. So 1 hit, and we drew our second end turn, so that's actually gonna end this turn. Okay, so since we had a unit in here that's already reduced, we're gonna apply it to the other unit. So they are both now shaken and reduced. Okay, and that's actually ending the turn. So we would put a fired on these guys. That's going to obviously come off at the end of the turn. Now, unless the scenario rules specify otherwise, both can have a reserve phase. Says that the NBA units cannot move in the reserve phase, but the US units can. Okay, so... And RPDs will always use suppressive fire. Activated sappers next to units, US units will use satchel charges and place a... Oh, there's supposed to be a building. A red dot building here that I forgot to put down. And they actually give you a... they give you these with your counters that come with the Solitaire module to actually make this a red dot hex, red dot building hex, which makes sense because he wouldn't just be out in the clear if he had been captured. He would be in a building most likely. So that is the end of the turn. So what I would then do is determine if I want to move any of my American units. These guys have 3, but they're in cover. I'm not sure I want to move them per se. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move them. I'm going to move them here, which kind of opens them up to some potential fire from 3 different spots. But if I can grab initiative, I'm going to assault this hex. So that would be my plan for turn 2. I'll then remove my fired markers, and we would start turn 2 by, figuring out initiative again. Now you don't shuffle at the end of the turn until you, or until you run out of cards, or you draw all the end turns. We know there's 4 end turns in the deck. You don't need to worry about that. You also don't shuffle the Solitaire deck until you run out of cards in the Solitaire deck. The Americans would get to keep a card just like they would in a regular turn in the regular 2-player game. So they get to keep a card. And then we would just do the same thing again. We'd count up the mystery markers. There's still 5 of them. And then we would, flip a card here. -5, so they would not have initiative again. And then we would just kind of continue on. The Americans would have initiative. I would say, I'm going to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Draw 3 cards, flip it over, look. I drew an end turn, so there's our first end turn already. Put that down, I'm draw another card. And we've got a move and fire, we've got a rally, we've got a move with power, or fire with power. I would probably use this card because what I'm going to do is I'm going to assault that hex. That is going to be my first move. So I will play this card. And I will say that these guys are assaulting this hex. So they both have the assault ability. They have firepower of 4. The NVA has a firepower, I believe, of 2. Okay, so we would do the same. We would do an assault just like we would in a regular game. 1. So the Americans get 4 cards, and the I keep wanting to call them Viet Cong. The NVA get 2. It's all simultaneous in assault, so we will flip all the cards. So for the NVA, we get a miss. Assaults are hits on red and green hits. That's a hit, so they get 1 hit. So the NVA gets 1 hit. And we flip the Americans. We got a green, that's a hit. We got a miss. We got a green, that's another hit. And we got a red hit. So they actually had 3 hits. They only needed 2. I probably didn't need to flip this card, but too late now. So the Americans will take a shaken. And both NVA units are going to be eliminated. So we know those units are now eliminated. And they now have taken this hex, and they get marked ops complete. And that ends their turn. We did not draw an end turn there. Okay. And then it would be the NVA turn. We flip a card. Black circle. We don't have any black circles. We do have a red circle. Okay, so this unit will be activated. They are revealed, though. Okay, so we do see here in the defensive stance, fire. Now, because they're revealed, we know what that unit is, and we resolve the fire just as we would in a 2-player game. So we know the range is 2. Sappers at 2 are 0 modifiers, so they don't get any additional cards. The Americans are in a building, so they get a -1. It's a black dot building. So they get 1 card, 1 fire card here for the sappers. They're not adjacent, so they can't use their sapper power. We flip the card. It's a green hit, so they did score a hit. So they're going to get a fired marker. The Americans will get a shaken on their other rifle squad. And we will continue with the American turn. Now, they spent a card last turn, so they're going to draw a new card. We look at what we got. Okay, so we got a Bloodlust, a Rally, Move and Fire, and Fast Move. So I'm thinking I might do a Move and Fire here. With black and my rifle squad up there, I'm going to say, okay, I want these guys to move now. Black has a movement factor of 4. The rifle squad has 3. And a Move and Fire, you get half. So they can move 2, essentially, because you round up. So we will move 2 hexes. We'll go 1, 2. And then they will fire at this unit here. So, okay, so we've got 3 for the fire power factor, plus 1 for the range for the rifle squad would be 4. They're in a red dot building. That's a -2, so it's 2. So we draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Flip them. Green hit. Yellow miss. Okay, so they get 1 hit. And we throw a shaken on there. And we throw a fired, or rather an ops complete on here because they moved and fired. Okay, so now we go back to the NVA. We draw another card. We get a red triangle. Now there is a red triangle. It's all the way over here. Defensive, fire. Now, in theory, they're kind of like almost pretty much out of range unless they're firing with a machine gun. But we don't know if this is a machine gun or not. So we say 1, 2. I'm just counting the hexes for my own benefit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 8 hexes away. So the only unit that could actually hit would be an RPD. But we're going to fire it because that's what we drew here. So fire. They are in cover. It actually says 2 hits. Okay, so we are going to reveal the unit and apply 2 hits. So we're going to actually reduce both of these. going to reveal what this red triangle is, and it is a sapper squad. Now, sappers are not allowed to fire at that range, but we're going to put that in anyway, and they are now revealed since they fired and hit. And we move on again, and we draw another card for the Americans, and it is a critical hit this time. So I'm going to use fast move. Actually, no. What I will use instead is bloodlust. I'm going to use bloodlust. I'm going to unshake my rifle squad. So the rifle squad will be unshaken now. I'll just put them on top and leave the M60 shaken. That ends their turn. They don't get an ops complete because it was a bloodlust card. We go back to the solitaire deck. We get a red circle, which is this guy right here. Now he's fired already, so he can't fire, which is actually what it says for him to do. So he's not allowed to do that. Therefore, he can't move. And the other circle is this one here, has no line of sight because of the jungle adjacent to him. So he has no line of sight to the Americans. So he can't fire either. So that's basically a pass. And then we draw another card for the Americans. We get a fast move. We get a rally. Well, I have two of these. So I'm going to play this rally card, actually. Or maybe I'll play fast move, and I'll move Riggs and this rifle squad, which have movement factors of 3. So that would mean they could go 4. They could go 1, 2, 4, and get them in this building, which affords some protection. So I'll do that. So these guys are going here, and we'll put a moved marker on there. And that ends the U.S. turn. We go back, or impulse rather, we go back here. We get black triangle, black circle. So black triangle, we don't have. We also don't have a black circle. We have a red circle with fire, but they can't fire. So this guy also can't fire, no line of sight, but this one can. Okay, so this one can fire. So it says for fire, and again, the closest unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're both the same. So we'll fire at this guy. Obviously, clear line of sight. Oh, wait, no. In terms of a tie, I think we have to go with the lowest cover factor, which would be this guy because they're in the open. So we're firing here. Results for no cover is 2 hits. So they're playing, they're doing pretty well here on the hits. So both of these guys are now shaken. They remain ops complete. This guy's going to get revealed. Draw out our shit here. We drew a rifle squad. So the rifle squad will come here, and he's going to get a fired marker. And revealed. So now the only mystery marker left that's unknown is this guy right here. So now we move on to the American turn. We draw a card. I was hoping to draw another bloodlust card so I could move that M60. I'm going to play the reinforcements card because the reinforcements card lets you play this card and draw another card, and it doesn't count as an action. So we'll draw another card. And we got a fire card and a move card, a fire card with power, actually. So I'm going to actually use this with Riggs and use his kill shot power. So the kill shot power for the sniper means that he ignores cover and gets a +1. So he's already a 1. So it's going to be 2. There's no range adjustment for a sniper. So it doesn't matter that it's, 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes away and the guy's in a building. It's 2. So we're going to draw 2. And we're going to fire, and we're going to get a hit and a hit. So 2 hits. No end turn. 2 hits. They were already shaken, so they're going to be reduced and removed. So they're dead. So that is the power of the sniper. The building afforded them no protection. So that's going to end the US impulse. We go back to the NVA. Circle, black circle, which we do not have. Green triangle. Green triangle we do have, but they can't fire. They already did. These guys still don't have line of sight. They can't fire. This guy already fired. I forgot to put a marker on him. So basically they can't do anything. So we're going to end that and go back to the Americans. And we get a fast move and reinforcements again. So I'm going to use the reinforcements again and draw another card. And we get light wounds and reload and fire. Oh, rigs would be ops complete. Riggs is ops complete, and the rifle squad is moved. I'm going to use rally, and I'm going to rally my M60 because I'm not going to be able to do anything with him anyway, it looks like, unless I manage to draw a Bloodlust card. So we'll do that and play this rally card here. Back to the NVA, who really can't do anything unless this guy can draw a move. Okay, so we have a red circle. But again, defensive is fire, and they don't have the ability to fire because they do not have a line of sight. Okay. So again, they can't really do anything. I checked the rules just to make sure it doesn't kind of like trickle down to move if they cannot fire. So we're going to flip a card for the Americans. We get punishing fire. And I really don't have anything I can do except maybe fast move. So I'm going to do fast move with the rifle squad. I'm just going to move them to get them a little closer to the action here. So he's got a movement factor of 3, which can become 4. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Put him here, drop a moved on him. And I'm going to drop that. Then we got... Okay, so here we have another triangle with fire. They can't fire. If it was a move, they could move, but we're not drawing any move cards for defensive purposes because the defensive stance obviously typically is going to keep the NVA units in a static position. Now we get sudden downpour. So when we get sudden downpour, we draw the next, it gets discarded immediately. We draw another card. If it's a green hit, it becomes a downpour, which reduces the range to 3. So that's the end of the US turn, I believe. Back to the NVA. Again, red triangle, again, fire. Green circle, also fire. So these 2 units would be activated, but they can't fire. So Americans move and fire and rally. I don't have anybody I can move and fire, and I don't have anybody I can rally at the moment. So that I'm just going to discard a card here. And I will really I'm gonna ditch the punishing fire canister card. Back to the NVA, black circle, they have a circle, it's a fire again, they can't fire. Bloodlust. If I had waited, I would be able to play this on that unit and I would have activated it. It would have rallied it without me having to put an ops complete. I guess at this point I will just play critical hit just to get rid of it. Well, not to get rid of it, but just to discard a card. We have a move. Okay, so green circle and green triangle both get moves. So they're both going to be able to move because this guy's only fired. So when you get move, you look at move and it tells you the move towards the enemy, and the stance in this case is brash, which means they're not worried about getting shot at. Okay, and since the only one who's going to be able to well, we have 2 units that can theoretically take shots, these 2, because they've moved but have not fired. All right, so we'll do the green triangle first. So if we look at our book here for brass, so here we have enemy, but we also have brash, so we have to look in this column. Advance toward nearest enemy if there are multiple enemies randomly determined. So they're going to move in this direction because we have 3 that are in this direction anyway. These units, well, that unit is revealed at least, so we would know that it's a rifle squad and it has a movement factor of 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And we'll put this as ops complete. So they are now ops complete. And we'll use, actually I'm going to hold on my opportunity fire. I want to take my opportunity fire shot at this guy. This guy right here. So when a unit is unrevealed and you want to move him, so unrevealed markers get a movement factor of 2. Okay, so they can move up 2, and jungle, moving through jungle, it has a movement factor of 2 for leg. They move as leg, okay, with a movement factor of 2. So they're going to just move here. Okay, so moving in here puts them in line of sight for this rifle squad. The rifle squad will take an opportunity fire shot at them. They're going to get a -2 because they're in jungle cover. The rifle squad has a firepower of 2, but the range, oh wait, the range is 3. So that, I guess I won't take the opportunity fire shot because it would be a 0 fire attack, which you can't do anything with. So this now gets a moved marker, but it remains unrevealed. Yeah, because they're not in clear terrain in the line of sight of an American unit. They're in jungle terrain. So there's still a mystery. We don't know what this unit is yet. We draw another card. It's another fire card. Just going to pass. I'm not drawing a card. Green triangle is here, but their ops complete, so they can't do anything. Nobody's adjacent. We do have adjacent, but nobody's adjacent. So now we have, actually, I wasn't supposed to draw a card there. Let me tuck that on the bottom since I saw it. So we'll tuck that on the bottom. Looking here, we still don't really have anything we can do. But I won't be drawing any cards to get that end turn card unless I actually discard something. So I'm going to discard the light wounds card, I guess. That'll let me draw a card next turn. We get red triangle, which has, if they had a move, they could move, but that's a fire. So draw another card. End turn. So that ends the turn. This is what I was waiting for because we had reached a point where really nothing much was going on. So we're just going to end the turn here. As far as reserve phase goes, there really isn't anything the Americans can do at this point. So I'm not going to move them because I can't. We will clean up and remove all our markers and continue on. I'm actually going to stop here, largely because I'd done a full playthrough of the 2-player game, and the game flow is pretty much the same. The difference being the use of these solitaire cards to determine what the enemy is doing, what your enemy is doing here. So I think I've shown kind of how this all works with revealing and so forth. One thing that didn't happen is if you pull an RPD, a machine gun, from the chit pull, you would then also pull a rifle squad because the RPD deploys with a rifle squad. So we did end up deploying 2 together, but that was with the by pulling the 2X marker here, pulling this guy out. This guy means you pull two chits out of the cup. So that's how that works. I think ultimately that was the end of turn 2, so we still have 6 turns to go. Ultimately, I'm pretty sure the Americans were going to succeed in this mission. The NVA is down to a handful of, like, this is the only unrevealed marker left. So if they pulled 2, maybe they pulled 2. If they pulled, there's another 2X in there. If they pulled that, they could maybe get 2 more rifle squads. Or if they pulled an RPD, they would get an RPD and a rifle squad. Or it's just going to be a rifle squad or possibly sappers. But either way, the Americans' firepower is pretty good, although we do have some shaken units in here as well. But I think ultimately, over the course of 6 more turns, they would be able to get to Staff Sergeant Rambosetti there in the corner and rescue him. So I'm going to wrap this up. I will do another video about the other add-ons to the game, the U.S. Marine Corps ANZAC and the city scenario, just to kind of show what those look like. Talk about some of the powers, powers and abilities that are added by the or given to the U.S. Marine Corps and the Australians and New Zealanders, and maybe look at how helicopters and armored vehicles work, or just vehicles in general. So as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I would also appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. As always, I am trying to grow my channel. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I would even appreciate it even more if you could subscribe. So, having done my little sales pitch there, I will sign off now. My name is Joe. This is Hexed Encountered, and until next time, happy gaming.